Where you want it?
Bay 12, please.
Hello there, Batman and Spawn fans, and welcome back to another Bay 12 video review. I'm a little surprised at this 2-pack. Not at the fact that we got this 2-pack, but more at the fact that we didn't get this 2-pack sooner. Because both Batman and Spawn are the Todd Fathers' bread and butter right now. And the butteriest of the bread and butter right now. I mean, the majority of what the Todd Father's been doing since the revitalization of McFarlane Toys and this resurgence of 7-inch scale action figures that are fully articulated with some of the best detail in the biz, it's very strange to me that it took the Todd Father, with as deep as we are into the 7-inch scale Spawn line and as deep into the DC Multiverse line and the multitudes of Batman figures that we have in the DC Multiverse line. I am shocked that it took this long to get a Batman and Spawn 2-pack, and it's part of the DC Multiverse packaging. So here they are in the packaging. You've got a really awesome Batman right there and a really awesome Spawn figure. Love the big sword that comes with Spawn. On the back, you have some really incredible artwork of Batman and Spawn together. And that's pretty much it for the packaging. And real quick before we get to the figures, there is some really awesome stuff included in the packaging. We do get a very nice square print of that Spawn and Batman artwork. On the back, you've got some various heads there, which look really cool as well. And this is probably, I'd say, about maybe 8x8, give or take. Say it's about 8x8. It's exactly squared. Looks really nice. And the backdrop on the inside, I love how on one side it's the DC Multiverse packaging, and then on the other side you've got the Spawn packaging perfectly split right down the middle. DC Multiverse stand for Batman there, Spawn stand for that. And we get data profile cards for both Batman and Spawn, so really looking forward to getting to that data profile card for Spawn especially. And here is Spawn and Batman out of the packaging, and they look very awesome side by side. I gotta say, the Todd Father really played up the capes on these releases. They have huge and very, very thick capes. The soft rubbery plastic on these capes are amongst the densest soft rubbery plastic capes that McFarlane Toys has produced for these lines thus far, I'd say. Very, very thick, very, very heavy. There's really not a lot of flair or posability that you're going to get to do with these. Not that you really could with a lot of the soft rubbery plastic capes anyway that they produce, which is once again a reason why they should focus on cloth goods capes. But hey, what do I know? I'm just the toy collector, right? Fully articulated here on Batman, head is on a ball joint. Fully articulated shoulders on paper, but due to the nature of the cape, you only get so much movement out of the shoulder. You can go about this far out, you can go about that far back. You do have those inner socket joints, but they're hindered by this huge, huge cape, and I don't know if it's removable. Let's find out. Let's see, let's pop that head off there. And no, it is not removable. It is definitely attached, as in it's not just a cape that pegs on, that you can just unpeg safely without actually damaging the cape or damaging the figure. So yeah, that cape is just kind of really on there. Now, I get it. This is more of a display piece. This isn't really, you know, your average, you know, take it right out of the package and start playing with it type action figure, even though it is still an action figure, of course. It's just a shame that a lot of that really good articulation is pretty much wasted because of the cape that they packaged it with. If this had been on a nice cloth goods cape, or maybe even a lighter, softer rubber plastic cape, then perhaps you would still have some use out of that articulation, and perhaps you could get some really cool more poses out of this guy, but it's kind of a shame that you can't because of the cape, and the cape has a lot of weight to the figure, so you're really going to need that figure stand if you want him to stand upright well enough without posing him at some weird angle to keep him standing because of the weight of the cape, because he's going to be back heavy, and he is back heavy. Upper torso, lower torso, hips, inner socket thigh joints, double jointed knees. Luckily, the legs aren't hindered by the articulation of the cape very much at all. Ankle joints, all that good stuff, mid-toe joint, and that's pretty much it for articulation. Now, on screen, you can kind of see that dark tone of gray under the black, but as dark as it is, it blends in really well, which is why I really like that they went with the yellow on this one, because it helps that gray stand out a little bit better against the black. On camera, I think it's picking up, yeah, it's picking up pretty somewhat decent. And I love that classic bat symbol there. I love that he went with the Keaton and BTAS bat symbol for his Batman design. Like I said, the bright yellow belt looks good. Overall, he's a pretty decent figure. If they had just done the cape a little bit differently, I think it would be much better. I especially really like the pointed shoulders. I think the pointed shoulders turned out very, there we go, very good on this figure. And I also like the face sculpt too. I like that it's not just a regular neutral expression for this specialized pack. Here is Batman's data profile card, and you've got his portion of the artwork from that awesome print on there. Words and things on the back. Real name, Bruce Wayne. I have a feeling we're going to read something very familiar. As a child, Bruce Wayne watched as his parents were brutally killed in Gotham City's crime alley. Traumatized by their deaths, he devoted his life to becoming the world's greatest weapon against crime, the Batman. He's a master detective and an expert martial artist, but his greatest weapon is his mind. Batman has a plan for every occasion, as well as high-tech weapons, gadgets, and vehicles to assist him in his relentless pursuit of justice. So, again, nothing really new here. I mean, are the data profiles all that important? Probably not. You know, I know not every DC Multiverse collector cares about the data profile. It's just a little extra card that we get, and it's a nice little extra thing, but I feel like just one more extra sentence just talking about this version of Batman, this story specifically, isn't asking for too much. And if we're going to get several different versions of Batman to one or two other characters per, you know, wave or figure release or whatever in the DC Multiverse line, just one little sentence here and there would be really nice. Now, Batman also comes with a swappable grasping hand for his right hand, this big wide batarang, and a swappable fist for his left hand. He comes with these two kind of claw-like gesture-looking hands right in the packaging, which I actually really like how these look a lot, especially if you kind of pose him with him just kind of charging forward, which, yeah, that looks really cool to me. Next up here we have the Spawn, and the Spawn also looks really good, but once again, this is a big, heavy cape. Now, it doesn't feel quite as dense as the Batman cape. It's definitely not as thick in this soft rubbery plastic material as on the Batman figure that came packed in here. And you definitely have more flexibility with this one, which is nice. Although, once again, not to sound like a broken record here, but cloth goods would have been way better. You know it, I know it. Cloth goods is superior, especially for capes. And the few times the Todd Father has done cloth goods capes, they have been quite nice. He is fully articulated, head is on a ball joint, fully articulated shoulders, once again, just like Batman, technically on paper, but because of the size and nature of the cape, you can only move this arm about that far out. You can take it about that far back. You can take it about that far out to the side. But the shoulder joints, if I can peel this up enough for you to see it, the shoulder joints are fully articulated shoulder joints. He has upper bicep joints, double jointed elbows, wrist joints, and he has that on both arms. It's just this big cape just gets in the way. You know what wouldn't hinder that? Cloth goods. Like I said, it would be much better for the figure if it was cloth goods. And I get part of it is the display, the posing of the cape itself, and that makes it very difficult. Now, a way to get around that is, of course, adding bendable wire into the frame of the cape. Now, that definitely is going to make the manufacturer price go up just a little bit for sure, because now we're interweaving wire, you know, so that you can bend and pose. So I get why they don't do it all the way or do it with the wire, so to speak, but it definitely would make it just a teensy little bit better, while also not hindering the articulation of the figures. But it looks cool. You can't deny that it looks cool. Upper torso, lower waist as well. Hips, inner socket thigh joints, double jointed knees, ankle joints on both legs, and toe joints. And then, of course, he's got the big leg right here, and then the regular leg with the anklets right here. And I love the asymmetrical look to him and his suit. It does look very cool. Spawn also comes with this big, awesome sword. I love the curved notch right here, and then the pointed bit right there, as well as the curved bits right here in between the blade and the hilt. You got that awesome Spawn skull right there. I like the wrapping on the hilt. You got the Spawn logo there at the top of the hilt as well. He can wield it. It'd probably be easier to put it in his left hand than it would be in his right hand, mostly because the left hand definitely has a tighter grip. Even though they're both grasping hands, you can make him hold it with two hands there, and that looks pretty good. Now it's time for Spawn's data profile card. And there's Spawn's half of the artwork there in the front. And then if you look at the back, his is basically a book compared to the Batman one we got. There's so much more text over here. Spawn was once a man named Al Simmons, a highly trained assassin who realized that the government wasn't always right and started questioning their actions, which caught the attention of people in high power. In a blazing inferno, Al was murdered and his soul was sent to hell because he had knowingly killed innocents in his CIA days. Al made a deal to sell his soul to a demonic being known as Malebolgia to get to see his wife, Wanda, once again. After returning as some kind of strange hellspawn, Al found out that she had moved on and married his best friend and even had a child named Cyan. His demonic guide, the Violator, revealed to Spawn the purpose of his life. Now, realizing his purpose, he must fight to survive against both the forces of heaven and hell. Now that's just the bare bones origin story as well. Nothing pertinent about the comic, but I don't think he's done any of these data profiles for any of the Spawn figures, or at least not that I've seen or can recall, so I guess I'll give it a pass on this one just because, like I said, I don't think we've had one sooner. If somebody knows, please throw it in the comments, but I don't recall seeing any data profiles of any of the Spawn figures I've reviewed in the past. So, yeah, I think this is the first one, or at least the first one out of the Spawn figures I've reviewed. So there you go. Now, aside from their figure stands, you do get one other stand. Now, unlike a lot of the other DC Multiverse 2-packs, this stand right here is not a figure stand. And it's got those heads and stuff from the back of the artwork we got. This is a stand for the art print. So what you do is there's a thin little bit right there. You just set it in the slot, and then you can display your figures in front of the art, or you can flip it around in the stand, of course, and just have them in front of a wall of heads. It's up to you, however you like to display your figures. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's review featuring the new Batman and Spawn 2-pack in the DC Multiverse line. Like I said at the beginning of this video, really strange that it took the Todd father this long to do a Batman and Spawn 2-pack in his 7-inch scale toy lines, but it's nice that we finally have it, and like I said, I really like this print a lot. The artwork is absolutely fantastic, which not really surprised at all considering the Todd father is a very talented artist, which kind of started this whole thing in the first place. So very nice, very awesome 2-pack. Really the biggest issue in this 2-pack is the capes themselves. Just the capes on the figures. The figure molds themselves are pretty great overall, but the capes just kind of hinder the figures a little bit. Can you still get some cool poses out of them? Sure, but just think of the poses you could get having the arms up with the cape flared up, you know, above the arm or something if they had cloth goods cape. That's all I'm saying. The capes could have been just a little bit better to the figures themselves. Stay tuned for more reviews, like and subscribe, follow us on social media, and check out our sister channel, Cool Toy Review, here on YouTube, and check out the main website, cooltoyreview.com, for all kinds of awesome toy news, videos, and more. If you like Star Wars content, check out our sister website, rebelscum.com, the world's oldest and largest Star Wars fan website, not owned by Disney, and like and subscribe to the rebelscum.com YouTube channel for regular Star Wars toy related video content. If you're looking for some awesome Batman or Spawn toys and merch, come by our physical location located inside Order 66 Multiverse in the shops at Willowbend Mall in Plano, Texas, which also houses Order 66 Toys, the world's official collectible Star Wars toy store. And in case you're not local, Order 66 goes live every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Time from the Order 66 Toys Facebook page, and they ship all around the world. Check out collectorsoracle.com, our free archival website. We have plans to start adding some DC Multiverse stuff to it sometime in the future, and are currently adding other brands. Right now it's all Star Wars, but you can sign up today and it's absolutely free. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.